Right, hello, assalamualaikum, good morning. Okay, welcome everyone to our our very first breakfast and a book. Okay, so before we start off with our storybook today, let me just explain a bit on what is actually our program is. Okay, apa sebenarnya program kita ini. Alright, so basically, like the name suggests, okay, macam nama dia, okay, breakfast and a book. So on every Monday, pada setiap hari Isnin, um, English teachers of SK Tiara Permai will share a story with you. Okay, setiap hari Isnin, guru bahasa Inggeris akan kongsikan satu buku cerita bersama-sama dengan awak. Okay, so maybe later in our program, okay, we will have some, maybe some of you can read the book as well. Okay, all right. So the name suggests breakfast and a book. So you can take your breakfast, okay, go and get your breakfast and just tune in to this YouTube live, okay, while listening to the story. All right. Okay. First of all, I would like to say thank you for everyone who's joining. Okay, and I hope more of your friends can join. Okay, even your family members. Okay, you can just invite boleh ajak family members awak to join this program as well. Okay, so if you have any questions, alright, kalau awak ada apa-apa soalan, you have any questions, maybe some words that you don't understand, you can always just write it in the chat box. Okay, okay, boleh tulis dekat chat, and I will read some of it. Okay, I will try and answer some of it. Okay. So let's just make this session something interactive. It's not like a very formal session. It's very informal. Okay, satu session informal, very laid back, very relaxed. Okay, so feel free to interact in the chat box below. Right. Yes. Hello. Good morning, Teacher Aliza. Good morning, Teacher Sabrina, and everyone is here. Okay. So if you guys are ready, I know I am. Okay. I think I'm a bit nervous actually. Okay, so if you guys are ready, so let's take a look at the first. Oh, before that, this program today is I'm going to read the book. Okay, you can read together with me. At the end of the session, I will give you a link to a quiz. Okay, saya akan bagi satu link untuk pergi satu quiz. Okay, so you can answer the questions. Okay, the questions is based on the story that we have read every week. Okay, dia akan cerita tu akan quiz tu akan sama dengan apa cerita yang kita baca pada hari minggu. Alright, so good morning to Adam Haziq. Okay, thank you Adam for joining. Okay. Alright, so if you are ready, so let's go to the story. Okay, so actually, right, today we are going to look at a story. Okay, we are going to read a story entitled A Tale of Two Beasts by Fiona Robertson. Okay, A Tale of Two Beasts by Fiona Robertson. Okay, there's actually two part of the story. Okay, ada dua bahagian dalam cerita ini. Okay, so if you guys are ready, so let's go and read the story. I was walking home from Grandma's house through the deep, dark woods when I spied a strange little beast. Feet, feet, feet. So that's maybe something like the beast macam kira bunyi kepada beast itu kan. Okay, right, something that the beast sounds like. Alright, he was stuck up a tree and whining sadly. So I decided to rescue him. I will call you Fang, I told him, and I wrapped him warmly up in my scarf and carried him safely home. I gave him a lovely bath and a gorgeous new hat and jumper and a delicious bowl of fresh nuts. I made him a beautiful house and gave him Lord Rex to play with. So Lord Rex is that stuffed lion. Okay, that stuffed lion, the yellow stuffed lion. I took him out for lots of long walkies to keep him fit and healthy, and I showed him off to all my friends, who love him nearly as much as I did. But for some strange reason, the little beast did not look very happy. In fact, he was looking rather hot. I hope he's not sick, I thought, and opened the window to cool him down. But then something terrible happened. He threw off his clothes, leaped out of the window, and ran away as fast as he could, back to the deep, dark woods. I wanted to go and look for him, but Mama had other plans. Tea time, ugh. Bath time, ugh. Bedtime, ugh. I couldn't sleep. I missed the little beast and wondered if I would ever see him again. But then a small furry shadow appeared at the foot of my bed. The strange little beast had returned. He seemed quite pleased to see me, and I began to think that maybe, just maybe, he wasn't that strange after all. Right, so that is the first part of the story. Okay, bahagian pertama kepada cerita itu. Right, let's go to the second part. Okay. So the little girl was wondering why the little beast came back. So I wonder why he came back. A Tale of Two Beasts, Part 2. I was hanging from my favorite tree, singing happily to the birds, when I was ambushed by a terrible beast. Okay, so this story is from the point of view of the little beast, okay, the little animal. Okay, cerita bahagian kedua ini dia daripada sudut pandang daripada little animal tu, little beast tu. She growled at me and tied me up and carried me off to her secret lair. She made me disgustingly clean and dressed me up in a ridiculous hat and jumper, and tried to make me eat squirrel food. She kept me in a tiny box with nothing for me to do and nowhere for me to hang from. She made me walk backwards and forwards and backwards again for no reason whatsoever. She showed me off to a herd of even wilder beasts who were just as terrible as she was. I've had enough. I made a cunning plan and put it straight into action. A plus B equals to freedom. Maybe I can do this. Free once more. The deep, dark woods 1 mile ahead. I raced back to the deep, dark woods before the terrible beast could catch me. It was peaceful in the deep, dark woods. A bit too peaceful, perhaps. And also a bit wet. In weather like this, one could do with a nice warm hat. I snuck back to retrieve it under the cover of darkness. The terrible beast was waiting for me. She seemed quite pleased to see me, and I began to think that maybe, just maybe, she wasn't that terrible after all. The end. Okay, so that was the story. Okay, a tale of two beasts. A tale of two beasts. Okay, it is a story about two little beasts. Okay, a human and an animal. Okay, seorang manusia dan juga seorang uh, haiwan. Okay, that have two different perspective to what just happened. Two different view. Okay, dari dua pandangan yang berbeza, dua cerita yang yang berbeza tentang apa yang berlaku. Okay, so actually I love this book, and I choose to read this book because you see everybody has a different way of seeing the same thing. Okay, what you may see something that is enjoyable. Okay, untuk satu benda yang awak lihat mungkin seronok. Okay, maybe the same thing is horrible for your friends. Okay, mungkin perkara itu not so enjoyable lah bagi kawan awak. Okay, so that is the way in life as well. Begitulah dalam kehidupan kita. Okay, there's always two sides to a story. Okay, the way you see something is completely different from the way your friends see something. Okay, maybe even your mom see something. So mungkin ada satu perkara yang awak nampak, awak tengok, awak lihat, awak alami, mungkin awak rasa benda ni macam maybe enjoyable, but but your mom sees it as something not so enjoyable, or maybe she sees it as something a little bit different than what you see. Okay. All right. So to get to see both characters' point of view in this story is actually quite cool. Okay, it is actually quite amazing. All right, and I hope you have enjoyed the story. Okay, again, if you have any questions, okay, kalau awak ada apa-apa soalan, you can just write it in the chat box. Okay, if you have any questions, anyone ada soalan tak? Okay, regarding the story. Okay, again, thank you everyone for joining. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of people here. All right. Okay, so if you have any questions, kalau ada soalan, if you have any questions, then you can just write it down in the chat box. Okay, boleh tuliskan dalam chat box dulu. Oh, no questions. Okay, so this book is written and illustrated. Okay, dia ditulis dan gambar itu pun dilukis oleh Fiona Robertson. Okay. Alright, so if you have any questions, okay, I'm going to share a link to a quiz. Okay. Oh yes, sorry, what did you feel? Okay, we have a question here. What did you feel about the story? So anyone, what did you feel? How can you relate the story to yourself? Okay, so what did you feel about the story? Apa yang awak rasa tentang cerita itu? Okay, can you relate it to yourself? Boleh tak awak macam kaitkannya dengan cerita awak sendiri? Okay, we have our GB here. Good morning, Puan. Okay, even our guru besar is here. Interesting story. Yes, it's very interesting actually. Okay, and I think everyone can relate to this story. Okay. So remember, there's always two sides to a story. Okay. Alright. Okay, so next week, okay, minggu hadapan, okay, there's going to be another story. Maybe it's going to be told by another teacher. Okay, so which teacher do you want to narrate the story next week? Okay, you can write the name of the teacher down there. Okay. Cikgu mana pula yang awak nak tengok membacakan buku cerita kepada awak? Okay, preferably English teachers. Okay, bolehnya guru bahasa Inggeris lah. But if you like other teachers as well, then maybe we can we can make something out of it. Okay. So which one? Okay, which any teacher? Okay, mana-mana cikgu pun boleh. Alright. So maybe our maybe GB kita pun boleh baca buku cerita kan? Okay. Teacher Aliza, Teacher Sabrina. Okay. So you need to tune in again next week, okay, to see which teacher is sharing their story. Oh, Teacher Sabrina, Teacher Aliza. Okay. Anyone wants Teacher Nick? Teacher Tilaga. Okay. Alright, so we'll see. Yes, okay, Teacher Nick. Okay. So we'll see what we can do next week. And please tune in again next week. Okay. So, okay. I've pasted the quiz link. Alright. Okay, I've pasted the quiz link. Okay, you can try and answer the quiz. Remember to write your full name and your class at the end as well. Awak tuliskan nama awak dan juga nama kelas awak. Okay, nama awak dan juga nama kelas awak. Okay, supaya mudah untuk kita. It's easier for me to know which one of you answered which questions. Okay, mudah untuk saya tahu siapa yang jawab. Alright, so you can answer the questions. The question is related to this story. Okay, and I will choose a few winners lah. Saya akan pilih beberapa orang pemenang daripada cerita itu sendiri. Okay, remember, don't forget to write your name and your class as well. Nama penuh awak dan juga nama kelas awak. Okay. So again, no questions about the story. Tak ada cerita tentang story itu. Alright, so you can try and answer the quiz. You can write your name and your class as well. Boleh tuliskan nama dan kelas awak. Okay, so I hope everyone have enjoyed the story. You had your breakfast. Okay, I think it is a good way for us to start our week. Okay, satu perkara yang baik. Okay, untuk kita mulakan minggu kita with a book. Okay, kita mulakan minggu kita dengan satu cerita. So every week at least you can listen to one story, you can read to one story. Okay, setiap minggu boleh dengar satu cerita, boleh baca satu cerita. Okay, so I hope by reading the story, saya harap dengan baca buku cerita, for you listening, for you reading the story today, I hope you are more prepared, okay, lebih bersedia, okay, you are more prepared for your PDPR class later. Okay, supaya awak lebih bersedia, awak lebih segar untuk kelas PDPR yang kemudian. Okay, so I think, okay, saya rasa I think that is it for this week. Itu sahajalah untuk minggu ini. Alright, please tune in again next week. Okay, jumpa kita. I hope we can see each other again next week. Okay, and let know your friends as well. Bagi tahu kawan awak that every week, every Monday, okay, before we start our class, we have a live reading session. Okay. Alright, so if you want to read this book, kalau awak nak baca buku ini, you can just Google it. Okay, you can just write the title. Okay, tuliskan title dia dan boleh tengoklah. Okay, dekat mana yang awak boleh baca buku ini. Okay, but I think there is lah, saya rasa ada lah dekat Google, okay, for you to read back the story. Or you can always go to the bookstore and buy the book, right? Okay, it's better to buy the book as well, okay? Okay, so again, I would like to say thank you to everyone for joining. Terima kasih semua orang kerana sertai kita punya our very own first session, breakfast and a book. So I hope to see you again next week with a different story. Thank you and goodbye.